Howdy people, this is part 2 of our solar install and marking the gland where the solar wires will go through, and we're going to drill the 2 holes right here, and we're marking everything, making sure everything is lined up, and then we're going to drill. If you're working on a van like this where the roof feels like it's almost aluminum foil, sometimes it's better to have someone else lighter get up there and do the work for you. We've got to take these grommets out to get access to the underside of the headliner, and the mounts all towards the back of the van, so we should be able to reach everything just by taking the back part of this down. We don't have to go through everything, and the goal here is also to keep the wires and everything concealed. And we're looking up here, everything's good, and this is our Blue Eddy down here, and this is the wire adapter for that. It's a EB150. I'm not going to go into discussing it too much because it's a discontinued model by Blue Eddy, and now they're going to fancier things that have more problems, but that's another story. But this is what we're using, and I got a good deal on it because it was end of the production of this model. And this just plugs in right here to charge, and then we've got to get the wires through the roof to meet up with this adapter. And here we've got our wires with MC4 connectors. We've got to cut these and put them through the roof, and under those 2 pieces of tape you see there, that's where the holes that we drilled, and our wires up on the roof now. And we'll go ahead and going to get working on this, but it's going to go through right about there, and then it's going to come over to here and plug into those inside the headliner. So it's just a short run. And here you can see the wires just being pushed through. We've got to estimate or guesstimate the length, and then we've got to cut these things. But these holes are already drilled. We are using butyl tape in the just area where the holes are, and then we're going to waterproof this even further once we get a little further along. But right now we've got to get the wires in, and we've got to get them to feed towards the back of the van so I can reach in there and grab them. And I'm using this piece of lumber to gently pry that back just enough to get my big old arms up in there to reach that wire and to pull it through. And it's still a little bit of a tight fit, but we don't want to fold over or mess up the headliner too much, so just taking it slow and being careful. So here we've got one wire basically where it needs to be, and we're feeding in the second positive wire, and that will go through the second hole. And we've got to poke a hole in the butyl tape and all that good fun stuff and get that. And we're going to flip the, it looks backwards, but we're going to flip that around. And we're going to flip it around. So the look of the port right now is backwards looking, if you're wondering. Feeding the wire in and getting it to actually turn towards the back of the van is a little harder than it looks on some of these. So the people selling these things decided that it does not need that rubber gasket that should be in there, which is super frustrating. But I mean, if I was to send this back and order another from someone else or whatever, it would literally be about a month turnaround time to get this project working, and I'd be sitting there with the holes. So I'm making do. I'm gluing. I'm going to glue and silicone and seal the heck out of this thing. But yeah, it's extra work because they didn't send me the gasket that goes in there. So now we've got the gasket, the glue is setting up on that, and now we're going to put an excessive amount of silicone over everything. I just don't want any chance of any water, so we'll seal it. And here we've got it clamped down. Not clamped down, but we're setting that glue in and silicone, getting everything all rubbed and gooey. And then we're going to put our high-tech clamping device on this and let it sit overnight. Okay, that is our high-tech clamping device. So we'll come back at this tomorrow. So it is the next day. We've let this sit overnight because I don't want me fooling with the wires inside to break the seal up top. So just, better to give it time to glue and dry, and it's better to take the time so you're not having water pouring through your ceiling at any point in time. The rain here is sometimes every day, so the last thing you want is any kind of water coming in. So here we're going to attach the MC4s on the inside, and we're going to make sure to keep our positive and negative connections the same so that we're not reversing our polarity or anything silly like that. So we're going to get the MC4s clamped on, and then we'll go to the next step. And the wires are done, so now we're going to get our little blackout curtain back in line so we can get those little grommets back in the ceiling to get the headliner back in place. And we're pretty close to just doing final testing and being done with this. Here we are hooking into our Blue Eddy adapter, making sure all the connectors are good, but we've actually checked everything, double checked everything. And again, all of this sits back behind this shelf that I've made, so there's no exposed wires. For the most part, everything is concealed throughout the van. So we've got our butyl tape back out again, and we're going to take off our high-tech clamping device in a minute, but we are sealing around all the edges of this with that butyl tape as an extra layer of protection and security and peace of mind comfort, because like I said, it'll rain here almost every day. I've set up 2 pieces of wood across here for the mounting bolts to ride across so nothing gets scratched, and we're just going to slowly ease this across and get it mounted to the roof rack rails. And then we've just got to double check everything, tighten all the bolts down, and we should be good. But take a look here. This will kind of give you an idea, a little quick walk around to show you what the final setup's going to look like. And still have to put the wires on and a couple little things, but this basically is what you see, what you get. This is what it's going to look like completed. Alright guys, like, subscribe, share, any of those fun things, and I'll see you guys down the road. Bye bye.